My entire
You
job revolves around what I say on the stand right now. If I was to lie, I lose my job. I lose everything. I'm here to tell the truth. I cannot lie while sitting on the stand.
Well, if you hadn't retracted the statement, but you retracted the statement, so you're protecting them. Thick blue wall or whatever. Nobody believes you, woman. Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back to Buckle Up, It's the Law with attorney Larry Forman. Folks, we're going to continue with Officer Deviled Eggs, whatever her name is, who cares? The fact that she corrected Jackson from the witness stand is unprecedented, folks. I have never in my life seen a witness get so upset. First of all, he pronounced my name correctly, unlike you. Second of all he said was... I'm dying. I am dying. Let's see what she has to say on cross-examination by Hank Brennan.
Attorney Jackson asked you some questions this morning.
Yes,
It sounds like you've met them before.
only by phone call.
How many times have you spoken to Attorney Jackson or anybody on the defense team before today?
Prior to the first trial, it was one phone call where we discussed the case.
She just keeps mentioning the first trial, the first trial, the first trial. I love this.
Outside of that, there may have been one other phone call before the first trial, but it wasn't a discussion of the case. And then prior to this trial, I received a phone call that said, confirm you will be available for one of these days.
Other than confirming you'd be available, was there any discussion before this trial with anybody on the defense?
Not about this case, no.
So the conversation, the substantive conversation, was before the past event last year?
Yes, a year and a few months ago.
You worked at the Canton Police Department?
Yes, I did.
You were a police officer?
Yes, I was.
And it sounds like on January 29, 2022, at some point you were asked to attend the desk?
Yes.
The desk is at the front of the police department where you see people coming in and out of the police station?
Yes, there's glass windows.
That night, did you have any difficulty with your memory of the specific things that you saw that night?
I was never on the scene. I never spoke to a witness. I never met a victim. I never spoke with a suspect. This was just a random shift for me 3.5 years ago at a desk that I wasn't asked.
I am innocent. Let me go. Leave me alone. Stop tormenting me. Why did you bring me here? I don't want to answer your questions. Even though you are on my side, Brennan, I don't like you. Do you see, like, what she's doing to herself in her own testimony? I don't get it. I don't get it. Why the animosity, woman? Like, chill. Take a chill pill.
Asked to recollect for about 1.5 years after the occurrences of that night.
Did law enforcement, not the state police or Canton police, did law enforcement ask you about your memory sometime after that night?
The agents asked me about 1.5 years later. It was the August of 2023 meeting. So actually 1 year and 8 months later was the first time I ever spoke about this case.
When they spoke to you 1 year and 8 months later, did you suggest or share or tell them that you might have seen Chief Berkowitz and Mr. Higgins near the Sallyport area?
I told them on the day of that I saw that. I didn't make any indications there was anything bad. I just said I saw them. And it was in good faith that I believed I saw that. That was the extent of that comment.
So you had told them you believed you saw Mr. Berkowitz and Mr. Higgins in the Sallyport area that day?
On January 29th during my day shift, yes.
Did you then learn any information that helped you remember when your shift ended that day?
So I know my shift ended at 3:45 p.m. So I know that I left then. That wasn't ever one of my questions. The defense released a timeline right prior to the first trial that the vehicle on that day did not arrive in the Sallyport until about 1.5 hours after I left, meaning it is not possible that I saw that.
When you saw this information, did you think about your memory?
When I saw that information, it made it clear to me that there was a distortion of the timeline, and the false memory I created, I provided in good faith, but I retracted immediately, being provided evidence that it was not possible.
Who did you retract it to? Who did you tell?
So I told the defense team prior to the first trial. I also contacted the agents. The agents assured me that good faith.
Not what they said, but what you thought. Not what they said to you. But
Did they threaten to put you in jail when you told them about your mistake?
No, I even spoke with the legal team, and they said that I made a comment in good faith. There was absolutely no way that I could be charged with anything of being malicious
Before we get to your conversation with the defense team, now I wasn't there in that conversation, was I?
No,
Have you ever shared that conversation with me?
I've never shared it with anyone.
Before we get to that, you seem a bit anxious. Are you anxious?
Confused as to why I'm here, but anxious now.
Have you received any negative pushback because of you sharing your memory? Objection.
I'm going to allow that.
No,
Have you received any unwarranted attention from the public or media?
not to my knowledge, but I didn't go digging to find it.
You mentioned the media sent you something. What did they send you?
So I've seen things in the media. No media has ever been directed for me to find it. It's just this case is unavoidable as a local person on the internet who sees things that get shared.
So inevitably, you were contacted by the defense.
Yes, prior to the first trial.
You mentioned that somebody had suggested you be charged with perjury.
Yes,
Who did that?
one of the male members of the defense team.
Why did they say that to you? Objection.
Sustained.
What were you discussing when you were threatened with perjury?
They were essentially telling me what they were looking for me to say on the stand.
What were they looking for you to say?
They were looking for me to say that I saw Higgins and Berkowitz in the garage with the car.
Which is what you said. Okay, I get it. You retracted it later. But if you don't admit to it, the fact that you actually said those words to the FBI agents, that would be perjury, lady. They're not saying just admit to it and say this is the fact and this is it. They threaten you because they're like, if you're going to lie and say that you never said that to the agents, which you did, and you know that you did, and we know that you did, you will be charged with perjury. Or you can be charged with perjury. Do you understand that? Where's the problem?
Share with them that that wasn't an accurate memory?
Yes,
How did they respond?
they became very aggressive, raised their voices, and the one word that I can very definitely remember is they said that they would charge me with perjury.
What did they want you to say?
They wanted me to say that statement, although I knew at that point it was not
But you
an
made
accurate
it!
statement given the timeline.
How many times were you threatened with perjury?
At least once during the phone call, but once you say it once, it was enough.
What else happened during that phone call? Tell us the tenor of it. Tell us the content of it.
That was essentially the thing I remember most because I understood that was what they wanted me to provide for the trial. I was never called for the first trial. Therefore, I'm not exactly sure what else there is for me to say when the one thing that they wanted on the stand, it is factually not correct and cannot be provided.
When they threatened you to charge you with perjury, tell us what your state of mind was. Your demeanor.
Disappointment that legal counsel would go that route with someone who is from a factual timeline saying something is incorrect. There was no retracting based on emotion. It was very clear, given the timeline, it could not be correct.
Now you work for the Boston Police Department.
Yes.
And by the way, when you were with Canton, did you ever talk to anybody about
cute.
reading or planting evidence or doing anything like that?
No, and this conspiracy theory came out a year and a half later. I was gone.
Did anybody from Canton ever try to suggest to you you should or shouldn't say something to help her side of the case?
No, because I was never spoken to until far after I left.
Did you ever see anybody in this case or any time when you were with Canton doing something improper and tampering with evidence?
Not in this case or any case.
If you had, would you have reported it?
Yes.
Sustained.
Move to strike.
I'll strike that, ladies and gentlemen.
So you transferred to the Boston Police Department. Has anybody from the Boston Police Department ever suggested that you should lean your testimony one way or another?
No.
Has anybody from Boston Police Department given you any rewards or favors for defying the defense position?
No.
Has anybody ever suggested that you should say anything whatsoever that would be unhelpful to the defense?
No.
Has the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office ever encouraged you to testify in any way other than the truth?
No.
When you spoke to the chief of the Boston Police Department, did he in any way ever tell you to shoot your testimony?
Not at all.
When you met with the Boston Police Department Commissioner, did he ever ask you the substance of what your testimony would or wouldn't be under oath?
He made it very clear he did not want to discuss the case at all.
When you spoke to the people at the Boston Police Department, have they ever weighed in any way on what they think you should or shouldn't say?
No.
As you're testifying here today, are you under any tension, undue influence, stress, threat?
There is discomfort with the way that there's attempting to guide what my testimony is.
What?
But I don't feel any need to fall into it because I'm here to speak the truth on the stand. That's my livelihood.
When you were threatened with perjury, how long was that conversation?
I believe it was just about an hour on the phone. My phone log on my physical phone would not go back far enough for me to be able to retrieve the date or the time that that phone call took place.
That conversation lasted an hour?
Approximately.
How did it end?
Not on a good note in the slightest. I remember it was a pretty hasty hang up on both ends.
Thank you for your time.
A male voice.
Okay. Okay. All right. All right. Now let's get back to the fun part. Redirect examination by Alan Jackson. And he starts out with a zinger. A male voice. Look at it. All faces are on him. Little, Karen, David, and I'm sure we can't see Bob Alessi's head, but I'm sure he's turned behind him as well, probably. Everybody is like, a male voice? Oh, tell me more, honey.
Call threatened to charge you with perjury.
Yes.
You're a police officer, correct?
Yes.
Who charges people with crimes?
If a
Commonwealth.
crime is committed, there can be a report of it.
Who
So
charges people with crimes?
in the end, it's going to go through the court system. So the district attorney, the ADAs, that's who pursues it in a court.
There you
setting.
go.
Have you ever seen a defense attorney charge anybody with a crime?
So you can seek out reporting someone for it.
Have you ever seen a defense attorney charge someone with a crime?
Personally, no.
Fact of the matter is, nobody ever threatened you with perjury, did they?
Oh, they did.
That's it.
I contacted the FBI regarding it.
Oh, did you?
Oh.
You have a report?
I have an email conversation where I sent the 2 questions I had. She responded, I will pass these along. I was contacted by their legal team. They reassured me perjury was not applicable because I made a statement in good faith. Upon further information, I retracted it, corrected it, and made it clear that I could no longer say it because I knew that it was not a clear reflection of the events that took place.
That's a mouthful.
So defensive. Yeah, that's a mouthful. I agree.
Yes.
My question is, do you have a report from the FBI saying that you reported that someone on the Karen Reed defense team threatened to charge you, your words, with perjury? You have a
No.
report to that effect?
No.
No. Your job as a police officer
Is to tell the truth.
is to be objective, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
You're not supposed to take an adversarial position against one side or the other, correct?
I don't.
Yes.
You're not supposed
right down
to.
the middle, just the facts, as you know them, correct?
Yes.
You feel like you're being unbiased in your testimony here today in front of these jurors?
I'm telling the truth.
You think you're being fair to both sides?
All I have to do is tell the truth. If it's not perceived to be fair, that's someone else's opinion.
Let's talk about
That's
that
you.
truth.
Wait, whoa. Hold on. Perception is everything. Perception is reality. My perception of you, woman, is you are hiding, you're being dishonest, you're extremely uncomfortable, and rather than just simply answer the question being asked, you deflect. So, pot calling the kettle black? Is that a self-admission? You tell me. Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, comment below, subscribe to the channel while you're at it.
What you told those law enforcement agents on August 9th, 2023 was, quote, you recalled seeing Higgins at the station later that day on Saturday. Dever thought it was also weird that Higgins and Chief Kenny Berkowitz were by themselves in the sally port of the police department, by themselves while Karen Reed's car was parked inside. Higgins was a witness and present at the gathering where O'Keefe was found dead outside, and then he was in the presence of important evidence. You were sitting at dispatch by yourself and saw on the camera outside of the sally port when they walked in.
Objection to the entire reading.
So.
But that's what
you're
she
in the
said.
Scope, so you have to keep it.
There's more to the statement, Your Honor. Do you remember making that statement to the officers?
My recollection of the time was that, so yes.
Okay, great. Did you go on to say, speaking of being truthful, did you go on to say,
I'm objecting.
All right, so you have to ask differently, but I need to see you for a minute with this and bring that one, please.
Officer Dever, did you go on to say in that interview, quote, you never saw them leave, them being Brian Higgins and Chief Ken Berkowitz. You never saw them leave, but you recalled thinking to yourself
That
they
was
were in
weird.
the sally port for a wildly long time together in there, end quote. Did you say that?
That was my recollection of the time.
Okay.
So yes.
But By the way, you indicated on the
And I
question
think what Jackson was trying to say is, look, this is what I'm going to be asking you, and if you try to lie about that, you could be charged with perjury, which is 100% accurate. And it was absolutely a threat and absolutely correct for Jackson or whoever, Yannetti, because Alessi I don't think was on there in the first trial, obviously. So it was Jackson or Yannetti. They made this statement to her. Don't lie or else you can be charged with perjury. Not me. I can't charge you with perjury. I don't work for the government. Only the government can.
by Mr. Brennan that
Of course they never will.
you knew what they wanted from me, meaning the defense, what they wanted from me.
Yes.
You understand that?
Yes.
You remember on that phone call that we read directly from the exact same report that I just read from? You remember that?
And I told you the same thing. Yes.
Sorry, I'm still allergic to bullshit.
Sustained.
My question is, just answer my question.
Yes!
Sarah.
Please!
Did we read to you where you read the exact same thing that I just read to you on that phone call?
Like, you can't remember my name. I don't remember.
Oh my
Your
god.
name is Deborah.
Okay, so the answer is I don't remember. No comments.
More than that, Judge. I think we all.
All right, so no comments, just questions, please.
Do you recall us telling you that we were looking for the truth about your comments?
I'm going to allow it.
That we were looking for the truth.
Which I gave you, yes.
Did you also say on that phone call something to the effect of, I know you're going to tear me a new one because I'm changing my testimony?
Changing, no. But you're trying to do that.
Did you say, I know you're going to tear me a new one?
That's what you're trying to do, so yes.
Actually, what you said was, you're going to tear me a new asshole, didn't you?
I don't recall that, so that's putting words in my mouth.
I'm not asking you to put words in your mouth. I'm asking you if you remember saying that during that phone call. Oh,
I don't
I know
recall.
you're going to tear me a new asshole.
I don't recall.
Okay. But you do remember saying something to the effect of, I know you're going to tear me a new one, right?
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever heard of something called the blue wall of silence?
Ah.
Sustained.
Do you think it's important for police officers to protect one another in the field and out?
Objection.
Sustained.
Okay,
Have you spoken
Serpico.
with anyone, not Mr. Brennan, he's covered that, spoken with anyone from the district attorney's office about your involvement in this case? Ever?
No.
Never?
Unless you're going to provide a person. I've never talked to any of these people.
Have you talked to anyone at the DA's office?
Unless you're going to provide a person, does that mean unless you actually have evidence where you caught me talking to someone, I'm going to continue to deny it unless you can prove, because yes, I've spoken to people, you just can't prove it, so I'm going to say, no, I haven't spoken to anyone. That's what that says. Oh my god, this woman is so deceitful. Blue wall of silence is accurate.
In any regard?
Not to my recollection.
How about indirectly?
Not to my knowledge.
Are you friends with any people that you're aware of that are connected to this case? Are you personal friends, girlfriends, boyfriends, personal friends with anyone that's connected with this case?
Other people who's been on the witness stand, one person, yes.
Who's
Sarah
that?
Levinson?
Sarah Levinson.
Yeah.
How long have you known Sarah?
We became friends in middle school.
Did you watch any of the trial, this trial?
Clips in passing, but no, it's 6 hours a day. So I work during the day shift now.
So you've seen some of the footage of the goings-on in this case, correct?
Yes, nothing with her. I did not watch her testimony.
Were you aware there was a sequestration order?
I don't know what that means, so no.
Oh, wait. Time out. What? This is not possible. This woman is a police officer. She has admitted to having testified somewhere between 12 to 3 times. At bare minimum, she admitted at least 12. So 12 times she has testified. She's been in communications with the prosecutor. She's been in communications with the defense. She's been in communications with the judge in all of those cases. And each time, sequestration order is entered. That's normal. Standard procedure. What does that mean? You don't listen to testimony. You don't talk to witnesses until it is your turn to speak. After you testify, you have carte blanche. You can talk to anyone who has already testified unless you are subject to recall, in which case you cannot until the trial is over or until the rebuttal period has expired and like closing arguments begin. And that's it. The sequestration order collapses because there's no need for it anymore. There's no more evidence. There's no more testimony. You want to tell me, Ms. DeVere, that you don't know what sequestration means, nor do you know how it's applied in a court of law? Ma'am, you are a lying sack of crap, and you know it. Because as an officer of law, you are constantly, every time there's a court proceeding, are subject to a sequestration order. So to say I don't know what that means is ludicrous. It's bonkers. Let's see how Jackson tears her a new one over that.
Police officer, you don't know what sequestration means
No,
in terms of witnesses?
No.
Not watching the proceedings in order to affect their testimony?
no, I wasn't aware.
But you did tune in to the case, correct?
In small clips, yes.
And you did, in fact, on August 9th, 2023, have a fulsome conversation with two sworn police officers about your memory of what you saw, your observations on January 29th, 2022, correct?
I don't know if they're police officers necessarily, but yes.
Law enforcement agents, how about that?
Yes.
And that conversation is reflected in this piece of paper that I just read to you, correct?
Yes.
Thanks. That's all I have. You were subpoenaed.
All right. Now we have a few more minutes remaining. I imagine this is all going to be recrossed by Brennan. I don't know if Jackson has more questions for her on a re-redirect. You normally don't do a re-redirect, so I don't anticipate, unless there's like maybe one or two questions. But usually it's direct cross. We've done that. Now a redirect we've done, recross by Brennan, and that should be the end of it. Let's find out.
By the defense.
Yes.
Did they tell you that there was a sequestration order or that you shouldn't watch any of the footage? Did they fairly inform you about what the ground rules were?
No. and
What?
I wasn't part of the first trial, so I had no idea about anything to do with
It has nothing to do with this trial. A sequestration is ordered every single Oh my God.
When you spoke to those law enforcement officers back in 2023, do you know that they made a report where you had informed them that you knew Sarah Levinson, and that report had been provided to the defense a long time ago? Did you know that?
Yes, I informed them very clearly.
So the question about if you know Sarah Levinson, that's no secret in your world, is it?
In that form, I'll sustain it.
That isn't a secret, is it?
Not at all.
That's something you were open and candid about?
Yes.
You understand that regardless of what you say, it doesn't matter as long as it's the truth. Do you understand that?
Yes.
The Commonwealth in no way is asking you to accommodate it or please it in any way. Do you understand that?
Yes.
If there was something that may be perceived by others as adverse to the Commonwealth, you understand we would want you to tell that if it was the truth, don't you?
Sustained.
You understand the Commonwealth has never intimated, suggested, or advised you to say anything other than the truth, have they?
No.
Have you been given any consideration or reward because you remedied your memory?
No.
After being shown the evidence that you left that day, January 29, 2022 at 3:45, and learning that the defendant's car did not get to the Sallyport at 5:30 or so p.m., is there any way you could have seen Mr. Berkowitz and Mr. Higgins in the Sallyport with the defendant's car that night before you left for work?
There is no way.
Understanding you made a mistake, was the defense receptive to your explanation that you made a mistake?
Sustained in that form.
Did the defense pressure you when you told them you were going to come into this court and tell the truth about your mistake?
Objection.
No, allow it.
Can you rephrase it?
Yes. When you told the defense you had made a mistake about your memory, did they pressure you?
Yes.
Did they pressure you to say something other than the truth?
Yes, they wanted me to repeat a lie at that point, given it would have been with malicious intent to repeat it.
Wait, but hold on. You're extrapolating and you're insinuating and you're assigning value to what Jackson probably asked you to do, or Yannetti, whoever it was. The reality is, Ms. Deviled Eggs, is that what probably happened is, look, we're going to be asking you about that statement that you made, and you better not lie about that. I know how that conversation went without even having been in the room. because I've had these conversations with police officers before. Maybe not to that extent, like don't perjure yourself or else I'll nail you to the wall. But they know. They've watched my YouTube videos. I have a reputation in the police departments here in town. Everybody knows me. Like, they understand that if you lie, if you screw up the investigation and Larry Forman is going to be cross-examining you, you're in trouble. You're in trouble because I will find it. I will catch you and I will call you out on it and you have no escape. And I do it in a very, very crafty way. So be prepared. And the police officers I cross-examine, I turn them into better police officers because they learn the hard way not to do it again. Same thing here. When Jackson made the call or Yannetti made the call, he was like, look, don't lie about what you said to law enforcement on August 9th, 23. I understand you changed your testimony. That's fine. You understand that could be perjury. You understand that. Yes. I know you're going to tell me a new one. She was waiting for it. She knew it was going to... It's no secret. It's no surprise. She even said it to Jackson or Yannetti on the phone. You're going to tell me a new one. I know this. And now it's actually happening, and of course she doesn't like it. I mean, who would? I get it, but it's a court of law. A woman's freedom is at stake here. Is everybody forgetting that? A woman's freedom is about to be taken away, theoretically, because of a conspiracy. That's bonkers. That's just absolutely ludicrous.
Understanding a lawyer has no power to charge with contempt, does that change the reality of whether or not you were threatened? Let me ask it a different way. You were asked questions about whether or not you knew who could take out charges for a crime. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Regardless of whether an attorney has that power, were you threatened that there'd be a charge of perjury if you didn't comply with the defense wishes in this case?
Yes.
Experience you had with the defense.
I
Is
see.
that why you...
I see why Tragos would think that this looks bad, but trust me when I say this, folks, I'm reading the room. I can feel it. Her words have no effect on the jury. I can feel it. I can sense it. They're hollow. They may ring true in the prosecutor's ears, and they may ring true as they come out of her mouth, but they're falling on deaf ears for the rest of the room. There is no power behind those words. They're just empty, hollow words.
You felt like they were going to tear you? Is that the phrase we used?
Yes, because they did not want me to tell the truth. So I told them that knowing they were kind of trying to eat me alive into repeating something that is not the truth.
Rather than to come in here and be attacked, wouldn't it have been easier just to said what you had
See, somebody needs to teach Tragos that you can't look at a witness's testimony in isolation, in a vacuum. Because I feel that's maybe what he's doing. And no fault to him. I don't know if he's ever had a jury trial before. But for those of us who have, again, not trying to take points away from him, I'm being dead serious here. It's very important to take the context within the entirety of the trial itself, rather than like isolating it and saying, wow, this looks bad, or wow, this looks good. It's how does it look as it relates to everything else. See, jury trial analysis is a totality of the circumstances analysis. And here, specifically, looking at this testimony, listening to her in the context of the entire trial, what I know about the jury, what I will learn more about the jury, I will be able to give you guys a better understanding and a better answer. And I'm telling you, this helps the defense unequivocally. Unequivocally. Trust me when I say this.
what you thought was true?
Objection.
I'm going to allow that.
Wouldn't it be easier just to come in and accommodate them rather than be threatened?
Well, of course.
So why did you come in here?
Because you were subpoenaed.
My entire
You had to.
job revolves around what I say on the stand right now. If I was to lie, I lose my job. I lose everything. I'm here to tell the truth. I cannot lie while sitting on this stand.
Thank you.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can lie, and people do it all the time. We do have a redirect. This is rare. This from this entire trial, I don't think we had a single redirect yet, but we know why. So back to Jackson once again. This is like, across two videos, this is the 5th time she's being questioned. So it was Jackson, Brennan, and now Jackson again. For those of you following along the entirety. The first video was just Jackson, and then this video is, of course, Brennan Jackson.
Your entire job revolves around what you say on the witness stand. Is that what you just testified to?
Yes.
And if you agree that what you said
Sequestration.
to law enforcement agents on August 9th, 2023, you would be implicating not one, but two police officers, law enforcement officers, correct? If you agreed with what you said in August of 2023 on this witness stand,
Yep.
you would be implicating
Yep.
two officers,
Yep.
fellow officers, correct?
Higgins and Berkowitz.
So I'm confused as to what you're asking.
You would be implicating, if you agree with me, you have not agreed that that was the truth. You've now indicated that what you told to law enforcement agents in August of 2023 was a lie.
No,
If you agreed with that statement here on the witness stand, you would be implicating two officers as having been in the Sally Port, weirdly, for a wildly long time with the SUV, implicating not one, but two fellow officers.
Yes.
Correct? That's what you would be doing.
Yes.
Not possible. I
If
saw
you
that.
agreed with me, would you be implicating the reputations of two officers?
If I was to lie, then yes.
And your entire job revolves around what you say on that witness stand. That's what you said, correct?
I'm still.
That's what you just said, Officer Dever, correct?
I still don't really understand the question.
You just said, all I'm asking you is what you just said. I wrote it down. You just said, my entire job revolves around what I say on the witness stand, correct?
Yes to that
Thank
question.
you. That's all I got.
I'm confused. When you spoke to those agents,
Riri Cross? Oh my God.
Chief Berkowitz and Mr. Higgins were doing anything criminal, did you?
No, they were friends. That's why Higgins had an office there.
You didn't implicate them ever suggesting they had tampered with evidence, did you?
No.
You never implicated them saying that they had framed anybody, did you?
No.
So would you...
Well, if you hadn't retracted the statement, then yes, you would have. But you retracted the statement, so you're protecting them. Thick blue wall or whatever the hell.
To those agents, did you ever suggest that Mr. Higgins and Mr. Berkowitz did anything to touch or tamper with the defendant's Lexus at all?
No.
Never.
No.
Is there anybody you're protecting?
I have no one to protect.
Do you need to protect anybody?
No.
All right, Officer Devon,
Yeah, all set, Mrs. Deviled Eggs. Oh my God. What a disaster for the government. What an absolute crap show. Don't forget to like this video, comment below, subscribe to the channel. Folks, let me tell you, this was absolutely wonderful. I don't know why anybody would think otherwise. The attempt, it's just so meaningless to try and make it look like actually the defense made me come here and they wanted me to lie. Nobody believes you, woman. Nobody believes you. If you had come there like, I don't know, like Matthew DeSorga, for instance, and you just sat there and very quietly and looked at the jury and was like, yes, ladies and gentlemen, yes, I made that statement. It happened. I did retract it and I do apologize. There was no malicious intent behind it. You can throw that in there but she's just like, no, there was no malicious intent. I didn't do that. You asked me to lie. You asked me to do this. I don't want to do this. I hate being here. I hate everyone. I hate everything. I don't want to talk to you. When you respond like that, people are not going to be receptive to you. So her whole demeanor cancels out this negative implication. It's kind of like when Brennan tried to rip apart Dr. Wolf, not his own bad witness, but Wolf from Arca. It was the same thing. The dude was just like, dude, what do you want from me? Only the complete opposite, right? What do you want from me? And he's like, you, da-da-da, j'accuse. And he's just like, no, none of that happened. And the parts that did, that's normal. What do you want from me? And then he kind of shook his head at Bev, like, I'm sorry, Bev, I don't have anything. And then Bev was like, okay, I got it. That corruption that they got going on behind the scenes. If you haven't seen that video, oh my God, go check it out. The Arca cross-examination. Brennan was on the verge of tears by the time he was done with Dr. Wolf. It was amazing. But anyway, folks, I wanted to thank you all for watching. We are inching closer and closer to our surprise on Thursday morning. It is now Tuesday, June 3rd. when this is being recorded and uploaded. So tomorrow, I'm gonna see if I can get Dr. What's her name? I'm not sure. And then I think we have one more who testified. He testified on voir dire on Friday, but then he also gave testimony yesterday on Monday, June 2nd. And I'll see if I can make a video out of him and then maybe upload it and give it to you guys on Wednesday. And then we're probably going to premiere, I don't know if we're going to do another Brian Albert, part 4, I think. We're almost halfway done with Brian Albert. I still have a bunch of videos in the hopper for you that I need to release, which I will release either this week or definitely by the beginning of next week. And yeah, we are probably going to go into closing arguments here very shortly. Jury instructions are being filed by both parties this week, and Karen has indicated that the defense's case will go about a week and a half to 2 weeks. So Friday is going to be a week and a day. So we only have a few more days left. I mean, I predict closing arguments probably next Friday, June 13th. Friday the 13th is probably going to be closings if I were a betting man. So place your bets, folks. Or maybe Thursday, and they'll start deliberating that Thursday afternoon, something like that. Or they'll start deliberating Monday, June, what is it going to be, June 15th? 16th? 16th. It'll be Monday, June 16th. So here you go, folks. I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope you all learned something, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye, everybody.